I just wanted to talk about, I'm talking about what the shit's going on with my life. And I'm not diagnosed for autism or ADHD or PMDD, but I suffer from all of those. And I took birth control for a short amount of time when I was alive. I was a full service sex worker. The things that they will not tell you for the medical industry is because women are women and the entire industry was built for men, and ultimately the only knowledge they have is from men who were fetishing ladies. So the knowledge that we have is limited, plus also not even proper compared to what we have as what we know for the males. What you have for birth control is a huge scam. It was a freedom. So look, the whole thing is, I've got another thought to tell you about the whole patriarchy and the nuclear family is a sham, right? I'll get to that. Ultimately, it's only recently from like the 60s, 70s that women finally got birth control instead of getting to the males in the first place. And so they, instead of providing birth control for males and females at the same time, we only relied on women for having any protection except for the goddamn condom. And condom is better than probably any birth control right now, because what we know about women is we limited what our knowledge is. If you think about the condom is a very easy one, and the best you can do is if it breaks, you can go get another option, and those are the easiest, cheapest one. And depending on the birth control, like, the condom is over the counter. The goddamn everything else is behind a counter every fucking time. They started to do stuff for female condoms or dams, whatever. I don't even know what that shit. It's great, but you're still not getting to the point of the like, that's more of like, if you're thinking about condoms and dams, it's for if you're fucking strangers. It's because if you hook up more than you do. Because if you're with one person, and theoretically, the person that you're with, if you're with one person or an amount of people, and you got a limit one, you're like, okay, I'll just go get. Then you would want to be like, oh well, it's heterosexual sex, so we've got to make sure that we don't breed this stuff, so we'll make sure we can do that, but we don't have as much a risk of STIs, which is annoying anyway. So the birth control we have is based on it's limited because we don't know shit. The only thing they know about is tricking the ovaries instead of addressing what we have and all of that. If we know, so I have issues right now. My breasts hurt without being in my PMDD. I have PMDD, because I get super, I feel like, I feel worse about myself. Like, for about a full week, my breasts hurt because they get sore. I get all this acne. This might be, it's between stress and PMDD. So when you get that, it's because it's getting closer to the period, and the period means I get pain for my period, and it gets pretty fucking heavy. And so I get acne for half the month. I get a full week of the month, every month, that I feel like I want to, end whatever I'm doing. And then my body hurts, and I get so much lethargy when I'm on my period, which is just like, I mean, like I get way more or less, and I have autism and ADHD, and I'm not diagnosed because that would take me thousands of dollars, and I can't do that. That ultimately I have less focus than I do just as ADHD. I don't have meds right now. I choose not to have meds. Ultimately, capitalism wants you to always focus on shit and be producing stuff, but I'm trying to trust myself more on things. Anyway, the whole thing with femmes who have autism, we know that they have between 92 to 94% of diagnosed autists for people who have uteruses, that all of those have PMDD. You can't say that, oh, I know I have PMDD, and also you probably aren't diagnosed for that either. They don't know, because we've shamed period in the first place, that nobody can tell you about why their shit is horrible. And then they're like, you can go talk to your doctor. Which one? And also, is it even going to be someone who knows what we're doing? And like the whole thing with the periods is the doctors don't even know that well, because if you can't even tell your doctor, hey, this is something I'm having stuff, they'll even just tell you, well, you just have a period. They don't understand that things should be, they only figured out recently that women used to have periods. They would start it later and they would have kids later than we do now. Everything we have right now is based on results of our society. Anyway, that shit is only recent that they figured that shit out. Our doctors do not know enough, because their whole, if your job is to profit, then you're not going to be doing stuff for people's health. You're supposed to, like you are supposed to be an agent in FDA, but if you make enough money, then does that even fucking matter? No. Certain people want more money than others. So yes, you're going to have doctors who don't treat you well enough, or even just ignore you, especially if you're people of color, especially if you're a femme, if you're queer, if you're trans, if you're fat, everything goes through the window, like for everyone. I can't afford the doctors. I can find other options, and I think we're going to go to universal healthcare at some point, but it will still take a long time for you to realize what goes on with your birth, or your birth control, your reproductions. My ass was a full service sex worker, and so I was trying to find other options for different stuff to protect myself from certain stuff. So I was like, okay, well, first of all, it's offensive for you to assume that every sex worker has, well, I did get an STI, but guess how I got an STI from? A goddamn client. I got gonorrhea from a guy who didn't even pay me for shit. So anyway, everything is a different other thing. If you assume that a sex worker gets, that they're just part of diseases, that's because of you. You are the people who pay people, which means if all of the clientele has a risk for that, that means the clientele have diseases. You are a client, so your entire thing is based on your people, which are people who pay for sex. So yeah, if somebody gets it, it's because all of you bitches are making diseases. So that's on you. Don't be dumb. Anyway, I did get it because I was still trying to get birth control. I was keeping birth control. I was keeping all of these other things. I would even take PrEP. I took PrEP, which is not good for you if you do not have a penis, because like I said, the medical industry only cares about men. So there's no PrEP for uterus because they don't give a shit about that, and they don't know about that. So I tried to do a bunch of those stuff, and I took different birth controls while I was doing those times. I had things with Depo shots for 2 years. I got Nexplanon, and that one I couldn't keep doing that because I had a period for a month, and you're supposed to stop. These things are, I probably tried birth control. I did try birth control on the meds, and I stopped. I don't remember how, though. I forgot a lot of things. I didn't even do drugs. I just was dissociating, generally. The thing with all these birth controls is that it's based on tricking your ovary. Because everything is based on... So if I'm only learning some stuff about the ovaries now, but I already know what has happened to my body without knowing about what ovaries even affect us. I don't even know shit. That the ovaries is why you have your hormones. Your reproduce thing is from either your balls or your ovaries, because that's what they were from the womb. When you have these ovaries, if you make too much, you have an imbalance of hormones, which means you get higher risks of certain things because they don't accommodate and they don't prepare for people who have hormonal imbalance. They just will automatically tell women, here you go. That I did these things for Planned Parenthood. Nobody asked for me for labs for my hormones because it's complicated to figure it out. So most of the time, they won't even want to focus on your hormones. Because for men, they know about their hormones. Their hormones gets, like, it boots it, like, almost every day. And for women, it's like a whole long... It's the full cycle of the month. So when you have changes of your hormones, it's based on your period. That's why we have months in the first place. You have 30 days based on the periods. Because men just have every day, it's their hormones is just resetting. Oh, you're not even showing evidence. I don't even know what you're talking about. It doesn't matter what I even gave you anything, because we literally show that people will not believe in anything until they find it aligned with their beliefs. So you can Google anything. And also, I'm not going to provide any of that because there's a lot of AI and I choose not to figure. I already learned about those stuff and I heard it from other people, or I've read it online from articles. And even that is subjective, but this is mostly for me, what I've noticed in my body and what I'm dealing with right now. So do whatever the fuck you want. I don't give a shit. You can believe in whatever the fuck you want because everyone chooses what they know. Even though we have the internet, we choose what we want to learn. So I'm telling you, for people who are probably autistic, or they suspect they're autistic, or even ADHD, because I don't even know about the ADHD with hormones, okay? I don't know shit. I know with autism is the reason why I have PMDD, and why you have PMDD in the first place is probably because of your hormonal imbalance. That's just from being autistic. That's just part of it, man. Ultimately, because of the way your hormones are, you have a more risk for all these hormonal birth controls. The risks of birth controls are for basically, I don't know, it depends on what their study is for, and it depends on if they even include people for autism. Most of the birth control had no idea that women could be autistic when they started figuring this out, right? So they have no way to know who has it or who doesn't. So if they would say, oh, you may have a risk of this and that, they won't specify that it's autism because probably a lot of the subjects would not even be diagnosed for autism in general. So this is why I say about if you suspect you're autistic. You're fucked if you do a birth control. Depending on what you have, I would say don't even take a birth control. I would say if you can use, because if you're referring to, and if it's like, okay, so first of all, if you have heterosexual sex, you should probably rely on a condom no matter what, because at some point I was doing the birth control as a sex worker, but I wasn't doing I was only doing sometimes. It wasn't like, oh, I'm on the corner. No, it was people would pay me for this, and I would only get a few times a month, of actual sex. So the risk of it was just, I mean, I don't know. I didn't even have that many clients comparatively, and still got gonorrhea. And then I was like, well, fuck this. I was still taking the depot shots because just in case, I couldn't be sure if I was going to be raped or not. I didn't get violently raped. The point of depot shots was, I was like, oh, I'll just figure this out. I realized towards the end of this that you get sterilized if you spend longer than 2 years. You do have issues with, they will not tell you, the doctor will not tell you this, but the depot shots will affect your stomach. It will affect your calcium output, and it will affect your sterilization. So almost like you become sterile towards an end anyway. And that's without even knowing about, that's like if you're a normal person. That's if you don't have autism. If your hormones were balanced in the first place. So, and that's why I had Nexpladon, and that shit is mostly hormones. And if your hormones is already imbalanced, because if you are an autist, or you suspect you're an autist, or if you have PMDD, your ass will take it worse because you're already off. And if you take a certain hormone, it means it's going to go Rambo, or I don't know, it's going to go ham. I don't know what I'm trying to say. The ultimately, your body will ramp it even more than you would have without the birth control. And without even knowing about that, inherently, they never told you if you had an issue. You have a risk for depot shots for their brain. They have a risk for meningitis or something. They have a risk for lumps in their brain. And right now, I don't know, maybe I have lumps in my brain. Probably not, but I have lumps in my breast now because I took 2 years of depot shots. And I didn't know I was autistic then. I wasn't told about any risks. I wasn't told about the common things that go on with it. They don't even tell you to stop for 2 years because they should have by then. Because it was we're talking about 2020, 2021, that they should have been able to tell you, or maybe it was the end of 2019. They should have had enough knowledge about this in the first place, because depot shots has been there since the 90s. So they would have been able to figure out, oh, guess what? Look at all these people. That's why they have a lawsuit now. That's why people are finally coming up for, oh, this happens. They get all these lumps. They got, it's non-cancerous. It's like the body will create stuff because it thinks it needs to create more for that, and especially for the breast, because your uterus, your ovary is the reason why you have breasts in the first place, because of giving you more estrogen, enough to create breasts. If you're imbalanced like I am, I will literally make more estrogen, and then there will just overpower my breasts. And then it fucking hurts. And you also have a risk for what you could have for, I don't know if they have that yet, but the point is, you're already imbalanced. The depot shots makes so that your body will create more regardless, especially if it's 2 years. If it's over a year, you're fucked. Your body can heal back, but if there's no way to get back to your normal imbalance, the normal way that you had in the first place, until that, then it's ramped up like me now. And so everything is going to last like this for a very long time. And so at this point, with this knowledge, I'm going to probably, I have a doctor for free for a mammogram and a pap smear. I can't be sure if they'll find anything from my cervix. And I'm not sure that I have any cancer there. I know that my left breast hurts a little bit and my right breast hurts a lot. I've been taking Pepcid, and that's the thing. Estrogen, I didn't take any coffee. I'm just talking. No, I'm not getting there. Damn it. Shit. I don't edit. I do not edit. Breast, lumps, fat. I'm fat. I'm gaining weight. Because first of all, I'm trying to remember, CSA. So a blocked memory. So my body feels, at risk. But also my body wasn't feeling like I exist and I'm not valued as a human. So part of that is mixed with that, where guess what? I want to gain a little weight subconsciously, that at least I'll be placed there. At least I'll exist there. The fat can and will be transformed into extra estrogen. So now that I'm gaining weight, I'm also going to get even more potential lumps or whatever, maybe even cancer of the cervix. I don't know. I'm not stressed up like that. It just hurts. My tits hurt. The Pepcid I take it. I was like, oh, I don't want to take it that much, but I do now because it hurts. And when I take a famotidine, which is Pepcid, just the not brand, that I take that about once a day. It's 20 milligrams, so it's extra. So I just take one a day, and I don't like taking pills that much. But I've been doing that to help the digestion better. I burp a lot because probably have extra acid because of stress. I don't eat enough to compensate for all the food, the exercise that I do, which is like walk or, which I walk because I have ADHD. Sometimes I forget about where things are. And then I go out and I garden, or I go out and walk my cat, or go to something like the grocery sometimes, or the beach or whatever. And then, so even the fatness is probably, if I could know how to have prep meals, I would be a better option of feeling that I eat when I'm hungry, which means instead of when you don't eat when you're hungry, your body understands that you starve yourself. And then your body goes, oh, so sometimes the vessel will not even be able to eat. And so if that makes sense to the body, it goes, well, shit, sometimes we have to save this because this person, the vessel might not always have food. If we can't be sure that the food is regular, then the body would automatically understand that it would mean that sometimes it goes in starvation. If that's the case, it has to save some of it. So I have a bunch of reasons why I'm gaining weight, which my feet hurt sometimes, and the more risk is that I get more estrogen. I already know I have high estrogen because before I was fat, or if I was skinnier at a certain time, I still had hormone imbalance because I was thin then, and I know that my estrogen was high because when I took the Nexplanon, it's just like a birth control that tricks your hormone, and it thinks that you have a baby in there. My body was still like, oh, if you're doing more estrogen, then I think that just means you need more periods or something. I don't fucking know. I don't know why they do this shit. But I knew that because of that, my body has extra estrogen. Now, because of all the depot shots that I had, or the Nexplanon, or whatever the fuck, now I have a risk of getting extra either glands or something. It's a different type of pain. I have sore pain all the time. I'm used to that. This one is like there's no space there. It's a whole different thing. It's not like soreness of the muscle. It's like shit is in the way and it starts pinching. So that's what I'm dealing with. So I have, this is more of like, I suspect that once I get my mammogram, they'll see that there is no space or anything. Because nobody gains weight and then they're like, oh shit, my tits hurt like this. They wouldn't have it like this. That's not common. That is actually a risk for what depot shots does in the first place. People have already had issues with this, and then they had a lawsuit for this. And so I'm gonna have a mammogram or something in my cervix, and then they'll have to tell me, like, then we'll figure out, oh, if I know the reasons why is because of the hormonal imbalance of just being autistic. I'm not diagnosed. I can fucking tell the doctor because they won't listen to us anyway. So if I just come with something written down, then I get it done set up better. Or write this shit down. Write a note of what you're doing to your doctor anyway, because they will ignore you anyway. So if you just write it down, be like, I want a note. Also, when you're done, be like, I want a note. I want a copy of your note of my chart so I can know what you're saying to me also. So I can take that where I'm going with that, which I might want to do that to there and ask for that. Because I am trying to think about the suit for depot, plus other issues that I have. Because I'm going to have to consider, if I know that I've always had issue with estrogen no matter what, I will want to remove one or both ovaries. Because I will want to limit the amount of estrogen that I have in my body, because it makes me want to kill myself. Or my body hurts, or I literally have lumps. I'm not even 30, in case you wondered. I'm not even 30. That's what happens when the medical industry doesn't listen to women and doesn't give a shit about women, and that's why you have the snowball effect of not knowing what women have in their bodies, especially their brain. That's why a lot of women aren't even diagnosed for autism. Boom. That's why they don't even give a shit about creating birth control for men, because all of the risks, women will just die from all of these birth controls. And they don't give a shit because our entire society is based on patriarchy. Women don't matter to them. They're just there for being a trophy, or being the caregiver, or creating the same lineage. That's the only thing they give about women in general. I'll get to that point. So yeah, if you don't listen to let me rephrase. Be wary of how they treat you in the medical industry. Take notes for everything. If you suspect you have autism, bring that up with them. You're not there for court. You're there for your treatment. So just be like, I have issues with this and that, and I want to find other options for this. I suggest you just take, first of all, if you're with one person, tell his ass, and if you're a breeder, then tell his ass to go get a vasectomy. That shit is reversible. That's easy. But at the same time, because if that's the case, then you could have just, the issues that I'm going to do is because I might be getting lumps for the rest of my life. And that sounds, you can't handle that, right? I'm already used to having PMDD, and I'm appreciating it now so that I can focus on my energy, my emotions while I'm there, and take time to slow it up because I have to because of having a period. So I think if you have a life, if you didn't have a birth control and you're autistic, then your best bet is to limit everything, take advantage of the way things are. If you could do to limit your estrogen from natural things like specific, you could try a little bit for up your testosterone, based on just home remedies. I've tried testosterone. I've tried progesterone from just the supplements. That shit doesn't help me at all. So I don't even know about that. I think it's because it was too strong. I think if you had a natural thing, you could limit how much you have, or you don't even deal with that at all. Also, your stress levels is why you get so much PMDD in the first place. The entire society doesn't support autists at all, and disabled people in general, and whatever, and fat, and black people, and anyway, the whole thing is in shambles, right? If you can support and accommodate your own self to take time, you wouldn't have to get get a surgery. I'm having to because I didn't have any knowledge for depot shots. I wouldn't have to choose not to have this. I've thought about a hysterectomy forever because ever since I started having sex work, bro, I was like, please, before I had a brain surgery, I probably have always been thought about being sterilized. Oh, how would you know? What if you never had kids? No, yeah, I did. I babysat kids when I was in my teen years. I took care of my siblings when I was a teen. I lived with toddlers and parented kids for a few months, and I was only there for half the week. And that shit was a nightmare. So I get it. You would say, how would you know? That's patriarchy trying to talk to you right now, okay? Relax. It doesn't fucking matter. People will have kids. Always. At some point. If I want to help kids, I can help kids. And it doesn't have to be for me every day. I don't have to be there every day. I don't want to be there having kids and I'm taking care of them forever and I'm supposed to take care of them. I can't even feed myself properly. So I'm not dealing with that. Shut the fuck up. I'm assuming there's an asshole here who's going to try and tell me to have kids. My whole story is fucking, it's a little bit much, okay? I don't even want to think about having kids. I already know about how having kids are like. And if it's my own kids, I know they have a risk of ADHD and autism, if not having both. That shit's hard. Okay? If I don't know how to take care of myself, I'm not going to do it. That means I'm going to go take care of kids and never address myself. Anyway, hold on. So yeah, shit sucks if you're autistic. If you even suspect it. If you think you have PMDD, you're fucked. and you probably have autism, and you should just move on, man. You should find other options. If you're a breeder, you gotta find other options. If the penis person wants you to do it, get rid of them and just go start having someone who will vasectomize, or if they will try a birth control. I don't fucking give a shit. It's not worth it. Whatever birth control you had to is limits. It affects your own hormones specifically because that's all they fucking know for the medical industry. You're fucked. Okay? Don't even do that. And, I'm not a doctor. Of course I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert. I just know what's happening in my body right now just from not even having a diagnosis because I can't provide it financially. I know I'm autistic because I get fired anyway. I get no friends because I'm autistic and I can't even maintain all of those people. The only friends I maintain is other autists. So I'm not mad at that. I'm just telling you what the shit's going on. So figure shit out for yourself. The knowledge is very limited in the medical industry, especially if you're autistic or suspecting yourself. The hormones is going to be fucked up and you need to figure shit out now. And you're just like, oh, you don't even have anything. There's no evidence from here. Because they're finding it out now. They've only been figuring this out like in the last 10 years. So yeah, of course you're not going to have evidence for me to prove all this. I'm just telling you because I'm fucking having to go get a mammogram in my 20s. So, sure. I don't know. You're either the type of person who goes for Google AI or the one who goes to Reddit. So, that's it. I'm your Reddit. That's it. I'm telling you what the shit's going on. That's all. So, let me move on to that one.